provisioning before it actually had a name was the system administrator's problem. And it sort of went like this. Well, I've got an order entry system, or I've got this mainframe over here, and I have to keep it running, which means I optimize all these different things and make sure everything is running where it's way it's supposed to be. Oh yeah, and then I have these pesky things called users, and they're like the most annoying thing possible you could ever deal with because they find me at my desk. At least the mainframe sits still. So these people come to me and they ask me for, well, I need to get access to this data set. And so system administrators really were the beginnings of user provisioning. And they built homegrown scripts to figure out, okay, build a user and put them in this group and do things like that, and to help them automate their tasks. What it has become is really managing the life cycle of the individual in the enterprise. So that means you come on board to a company either as an intern, a part-time worker, a full-time employee, even a contractor. And this triggers an event in the provisioning system, which means, well, we see Ian, he's new to the organization. We see where he is in the organization, what kind of job he has. And based on those things, he's going to need access to the network. He'll need access to email. Let's go ahead and set him up with those accounts. And so primarily we're looking at efficiencies, because if I was to come on to a company without a decent provisioning methodology, it would take me a couple days, it could take me weeks. I know some companies it takes months to get full access to the systems I need. In the meantime, I'm still drawing a salary, but I'm not as productive without being able to use those business systems. So you have this efficiency drive of getting people into systems. But that's just half the fun, because the easiest way to get more stuff in any company is just change jobs a couple times. So, you can pick up a spare laptop here and there, and, ooh, that's like a good desk credenza, I'll grab that too. Same thing true with IT systems, which is, yeah, I could really use, access to Salesforce, let's say. And, while you're at it, I really also like to look at the inventory system. And if you have that relationship with your IT staff, you find that you end up getting a lot more access than you probably should. So the ongoing maintenance of what a user has, and make it policy driven, to say, yeah, Ian's allowed Salesforce, but only at this level, and we're going to automate the creation of his account and maintenance. So when I see he's changed roles, maybe through a trigger in HR, for instance, from human resources, I'll change his access and give him Salesforce access. I may change his roles in SAP, but I'm not going to give him more than he needs, and I'm going to take away things that he doesn't need. And then at such time as you leave the organization, completing the cycle of actually turning off all of your access, so you know what Ian had, the whole history, and have policies that actually drive the process every step of the way.